Welcome to a Farming Simulator 19 Assistance Guide to type video with me, MrSealyp. So I'm back at it again with a little bit more crop information. After I did my field yields, how much difference do we make video yesterday, I had a few questions asked about when should I harvest, and that's a good point actually. When should you harvest? There's always been an assumption I've made. Now I'm on Felsburn again, I'm on field 19 again, I've got my corn set up, I'm on maximum yield, so it's been ploughed, it's been fertilised, it's been limed, 2 fertilising states, so it's ready to harvest. If we go into the menu, it's on yellow, and that's the question that's being asked. Now I was always under the assumption that if you look over to the right hand side, and I'll zoom in on that now, where it says ready to harvest, you've got yellow, you've got orange, and a deeper orange bordering on towards red. Now that to me, I was always under the impression that was kind of a warning, like almost like a traffic light system, leading up to, if you have withering on, the longer you leave that crop, the more it dries out, the more it gets to a point where you're going to then move into it being in a withered state. Now I've had as many people comment to say, actually you get a better yield the longer you leave it, to a same amount of people that have said it makes no difference whatsoever when you do it. So that's what I'm going to test. The first test is going to be now. It's literally just gone ready to harvest, it's on yellow, I'm going to harvest it. Now when I did it on my video yesterday, I got about 29,000 something, 29,255 or something like that was my highest yield. So I'm going to harvest it now, see what we get. Then I'm going to reset, and we're going to let it go on to the next step where it's on orange. Now I suppose in real life, technically, as soon as it's ready to harvest, there's going to be a lot of crop moisture in it and various different things, and a lot of farmers will leave it as long as they can to allow a lot of that moisture out, and I suppose the quality of it would improve. But then you go beyond it being good quality into, like I say, it gets to that point where it's on the point of withering. So we'll see. I'm going to see you in a moment when I've harvested. We'll see how much we've got. That's going to be test 1. We'll do test 2, test 3, and we'll see whether the yield does improve the longer you leave it. That will tell us exactly when we need to harvest. Right, so here we are. Harvest done. We harvested as soon as it was ready to harvest on yellow, and we've got 29,259. When I did my video yesterday, the best yield I got off it was 29,000, I think 255 or 225, so it's pretty consistent. And I think I had one of 29,125, so yeah, all around 29,000 mark. Happy with that. So next test is going to be when it moves beyond the immediate ready to harvest onto the orange. We'll harvest it again, see if it makes any difference, and then we'll go on to the one that's the darker orange bordering on red, and see if that makes any difference as well. I'll see you in a minute when we're ready to go. Okay, it's 12:48. Time for test 2. If I go into the menu and we go to the map, field 19 is now on the next, technically the next growth stage. It's on the orange of ready to harvest, so it's more ready to harvest, or possibly less ready to harvest. We don't know. We're going to find out in a minute. So we're going to harvest it now. We'll see what we get. Is it going to make a difference? Are we going to be about the same? That's going to give us an indication towards our last one, but we don't know until we've done all 3. So I'll see you in a moment when the harvest is done, and let's see if it does make a difference. Now I just want to make this clear, I have got, everything is repaired fully. There's no discrepancy with the header being worn out or the harvester or anything like that. I know there were some questions on the previous video where people were concerned that maybe the figures were out a bit. This is all absolutely spot on. So see you in a moment, we'll see what we get. Well, you couldn't make this up, could you? Okay, so on the second ready to harvest state, I've got 29,259 litres, which is exactly what I got on test 1. That's strange. Well, it's not strange, I suppose. It is what it is. Okay, well, the indication now is that it's not going to make any difference, I don't think. I honestly still believe that they're just indications towards when the plants are going to wither. But in the interest of science, in the interest of getting the experiment done and making sure I don't miss anything or make any mistakes, I'm going to run it again, and we'll go to the final ready to harvest state, which is on the much darker orange. Is it potentially that you need to get to that point where you'll get an increase in crop, or will it be at that point where it's close to withering and you'll have a drop off? I don't know. We'll test that in a second. But yeah, exactly the same. That's uncanny. Okay, well, I'll see you in a minute for test 3. It's 6:58 in the evening and we're ready to go again. If we check the map, we are now on the dark orange, so the third of the ready to harvest states. What's your money on? What do you reckon? Is it going to drop off? Is it going to stay exactly the same? Am I going to get exactly the same for the third time? 29,259 litres. I'm interested to know. I'm really actually now very, very curious to see whether I'll get exactly the same or whether there will be any difference at all. So I'll see you in a second. For you, for me, a little bit longer, and we'll see what we end up with. Oh dear. Well, there you go. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Third ready to harvest stage, the darker orange, and I've got 29,259 litres, the same as I got the previous 2 times. So it really doesn't matter when you harvest, unless you've got withering turned on. Once it then goes to withered, the crop's had it and you can't do anything with it. I suppose there's a potential that if you had withering turned on, would those results be any different? Maybe, I don't know. And I'm not resetting and doing the whole lot again. I couldn't help it. My OCD would not let me finish the episode without testing it, because I know I'll get comments, people asking me and saying I should have done it. So I went back in again, went back to where I was originally. I went into the menu and I put plant withering on, right back from when the crop was very first ready. So plant withering is on. I've gone through the 3 cycles, so now we're at the third, back on the third ready to harvest state. So if withering does have an effect on the yield, we're going to find out. I'll see at the end. I just had to do this test. I couldn't leave it and not test it. And there you go. With withering on, it made very little difference, if any. I've got 29,257 litres as opposed to 29,259. So withering has cost me 2 whole litres. The withering has made no difference whatsoever, but I thought I should check anyway. It's probably better to be safe than sorry. Most people, I say most people, that's an exaggeration. A lot of people play with withering turned off. It's the only way you can keep up with most of the crops. When you're running seasons, you don't have a choice. It's on anyway, so your plants can wither. Potentially there's a difference, but all I'm doing is presenting the facts as I found them. I was asked a question and I've done the experiment to see. They came out exactly the same, all 3 stages. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.